Om Shanti, a very warm welcome to all of you. I know there are a few who's going to join in another few minutes, but I would like to introduce Brother Ram Prakash Bhai. Ram Prakash Bhai, if you can switch on your video, I will spotlight yours for everyone. Yeah. And Brother Ram Prakash Bhai has been in Baba's knowledge practicing meditation from the last 47 years almost. So I was just telling him today that that's my age and your experience is of my age, you know. So that's how Brother is a veteran and very, very experienced yogi and very practical. Brother is a civil engineer by profession and he has helped in the Yagya many constructions and everything over. He had an idea and helped it. And this brother, the way he understands meditation and knowledge is very, very practical, day to day. You know, it's not theoretical. It's very down to, simple points in life that you will enjoy. And also a biggest thing about this brother is he's a survivor of 9/11 attack. He was there in the building and he helped others to, move forward in front of him, and he stayed and let others move. So that's a great quality that brother has. So we will listen from brother. And brother, this is a Telugu group that most of them meet every Thursday and every Wednesday. So there are a few more joining, but you can just get started. Thank you. Thanks for coming and giving your precious time for all of us. Om Shanti. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
It's a pleasure to be with the group. And one thing connected with the Telugu group is when I started traveling, I was doing a program called 7 Billion Acts of Goodness. And I said, where should I start? When I started in India, I wanted to go all over India. And the very first place I started was in Telugu, Hyderabad to Uluru, other places, and Vijayawada. And I continued to travel in that vicinity, went to many universities, engineering colleges, medical colleges, companies, and all that. So one thing I found, what they used to say, that when I used to say, I am from Punjab, they could not believe. They thought that I belong to that area because somehow or another, so they felt very connected. And I was very happy with that too. And what I want to share is my own experience that when I joined Brahma Kumaris, I just finished my engineering in 1974. And I was sitting home waiting for the results. And Brahma Kumaris came to our house because my auntie was in this thing. And I was totally against them because some or another I could not understand the practical aspect of whatever they were preaching. But when I saw them in my house and they stayed with us for about 3 months, what I could see was the real feelings, that they look very content. They have a genuine, authentic happiness on their faces. It was not artificial. And also with the family, they were like family. So I noticed that they work whole day. They eat very little. Their clothes are very simple and all that. But I could see continuously working hard, eating less, sleeping less, and still they are so happy. I could see on their faces. The thought was there must be something they must be getting. Nobody can do anything. It's not that if there was artificial, face is smiling, it cannot remain forever. You will find out when it is not natural. So once I saw that, that is where my curiosity was. And then I started to take this course. So what I understood was that because I really took it very seriously, and it started to make sense that when they talk about that I am soul, this is my body. Now I put a lot of energy in understanding, because we used to think I have a soul, and now they are saying I am a soul. Is such a big difference. So rather than saying I have a soul, then who am I? But we never went to that far to find out. But when I understood I am a soul, this is my body, then I also start to understand that this is how people talk to each other about this one is Dharmatma, this one is Dushtatma, Papatma, Punyatma, Devatma. So that means everything is connected with the soul. That means it is the qualities of the soul. That is how I know what kind of human being I am. And that was one thing. So what I did in my life was I wanted to, as an engineer, we all know, I know many of you must be engineers, when you talk about from that part of the world. So you are very intellectuals, and many of doctors and engineers and IT people, I'm sure that many of you are. So that means you have that background, and we talk about engineering is like two things particularly. One is to simplify everything, because the things are very complicated. People won't be understand the whole aspect of the uh, all. Even though many times when you help somebody out, and the IT people say, "Could you please call?" You just press some buttons and all that, everything works. So then you tell them simple way. So in other words, simplify things. You say you don't have to worry about anything else. Just do this thing, and you are all set, right? We simplify things, that whatever is necessary or whatever looking very very kind of impossible, you make it look like possible. So that means simplify things. So my tendency always was I want to simplify this knowledge. In other words, theory, people have read so many scriptures, so many things. Our experience is so of variety, and we meet with so many people. So many people talk so many things. So how can I simplify things? And the second thing, as an engineer, we do is we use the word process. We also use the word implementation, then application. So that means what is the application in my life? Somehow or another, I feel that when there is a spiritual understanding, it makes the value only when I put it into action. So this is how I looked at myself, that I want to apply this knowledge. So understanding I am a soul, this is my body, and that is where the clarity started to come. If I am a soul, this is my body. So that means that as I, the this body, my parents created, I have their DNA. On the physical level, I carry DNA of my parents. So when I say I am a soul, so who is my mother and father? I know the parents of the body. So what are the parents of the soul? And that's where I understood soul and the parents also have to be very similar as the body is similar. So that is where when I was told God is supreme soul. There is a gradation of the souls, good soul, bad soul, deity soul, like spiritual soul, Atma, we use different things. Dushta Atma, bad souls, Punya Atma is charitable soul. So you keep on going higher and higher. And where you go up to the top, the supreme, they say, Mahadev, Deva of Mahadev, gods of gods. So then we say supreme soul. So I could see the similarity. So that means I started to challenge myself that if I say I am a soul, this is my body, so who is the parents of the soul? God. So if I agree God is my mother and father, so that means I can say I carry God's DNA. That means I have characteristics of God. Because we used to hear in the many time magazines, they used to talk about God's genes. I have the genes of my parents in my body. So the soul carries the genes of God as well. So genes of God is happiness, love, ocean of happiness. So that means if I say God is ocean of love, love is also my DNA. Happiness is my DNA. So this is how I started to work on myself. Then I could also feel that when they use the word, that when God comes in my life, He start to work on us. He, makes us pure, like we had been impure. Then also we were vicious, and He start to inject the understanding who you are, and also making me feel you are my child. God is saying to me, you are my child. I adopt you. So that means I have to have the faith that I am going to become like God. So that means I am going to turn the human beings into deities. Now that looks very silly. Like I remember then they told me that this knowledge is about turning the human beings into deities. And I was laughing inside. I said, forget about becoming like a deity. If I improve on myself, that's good enough. Because I used to have all the bad habits, drinking, smoking, and doing all kind of things. I was never interested in God and the spiritual thing. I used to run away from those kind of things. But now when I started to see, so then I started to feel what I understood was they explain that people, even in this world, many times they tell, oh, you are like a Rakshas or you are like a Devta. Don't we say sometimes to each other, ye to jaise Devta hai. He is just like a deity, very cool, very nice person. So that means we use the word quite often that you are Rakshas or you are Devta. So that means I started to feel that is there a way to clarify or to simplify the understanding the human beings, the Rakshas and Devta. So what that is? So that is where I understood that when I have divinity or mean divine qualities, then I become divine. And when we talk about deities, that means the one who is divine. So that means I have divine virtues. So then I also understood there is a difference between specialities or the talent and also the virtues. Virtues have a connotation of something, a quality, plus also filled with the positive spiritual energy or the spirituality in it. For example, like somebody say, I tell the truth, but the truth can be bitter. Why we say truth is bitter? We say many times we say, oh, why you're so scared of the truth? Now question comes, we say God is truth, truth is God. How come we are all afraid of truth? Or we are even afraid of the people who are very truthful. And the reason, because in the truth, we add anger, arrogance, or I don't care what you think. I am going to speak the truth, doesn't matter what happens to you. I don't care for your feelings. So that means I can add anger, I can add arrogance, I can add a negative kind of feelings, or sometimes speaking the truth, wrong time, under wrong circumstances. Like I could embarrass somebody with the truth. I say, I don't care. So that is why when the truth is filled with anger or arrogance and putting people down or taking even revenge sometimes, we use the truth or using it at the most vulnerable time. So that truth is impure truth. So that means there is a quality of truth, but the impurities are also filled in that truth. So it is not effective anymore. But now think of that I know person have done a wrong thing. I have to explain, but not at that time. At that time, the person is most vulnerable when somebody is doing something wrong. Actually, they don't have the strength at the time. And you will try to tell them, they will defend themselves because they don't have the power to face it. So at that time, you remain quiet. You don't lose your love for that person, like your child, for example, and also you don't lose the love, you still have the love. Then also you are having that genuine respect for that person and making the person feel that I only do things for your benefit. And in the right moment when the child is feeling happy and child is very comfortable with you, in a very humble way, is in the softer way, and not like a lecture, but speak out certain things. Look, I noticed this thing. Maybe you can think about it. This is how I noticed. And you give the child space. So that let the child understand on his own, on her own. So that means you have done your job, but you have the faith. I have done the right thing. And now when the right time will come, the child will understand. So what happened? That I added love in the truth. I added right time, right situation, humility, and also not like a lecture. And I just put in a seed, sowing a seed, and let it sprout with other circumstances, with the soil and the water. So at its own time, the child will recognize or realize. We have heard sometime you say something to the child, they reject it and they walk away. And you say, look, the child did not understand, your child did not agree with me, did not obey me. But maybe they come to you after 5 years or 10 years. Say, Mom, something happened to me and I remembered what you told me 10 years ago. That made sense to me and I applied that thing. It really worked. Now, we thought the child had rejected it. But if the child had rejected it, he would have forgotten. So that means it was the right moment for that child to understand, but you did your job. So what the thing I am trying to bring, that means when I add in the truth, the love and the divinity, so that means that becomes pure truth. Or you could call it, it has added divinity in the truth, so it becomes a divine virtue. Truth with smile, truth with love and care and softness and humility. So that means an ordinary human being, truth plus anger, but deity means truth plus love and care. And that is what divine is. So that means I could see a practical aspect of being an engineer. We always think of how I apply in my life. So this is how I grew up. So I could understand so clearly, little by little, that the value of knowledge is only when I apply. Like when we studied in our 11th grade, 12th grade, we learned mathematics, physics, mechanics of material. But then when we went to engineering college, we learned applied mathematics, applied physics. Is it true or not? So that means application. So this is how I started to understand application of yoga. So what yoga is? The yoga is that I am inculcating the love, happiness, but then coming into action means I am applying love in my profession. I am applying love in my family. Like you will see, anytime you say something with love, chances are person will agree with you. Or when you are smiling. Now, supposing your boss have to give promotion. Now there are two people, you have to make a choice. One is a happy person, other one is a grouchy person. Where the promotion will go to a happy person, person who is कहते हैं person who can mingle with each other, person who cares for each other. So automatically professional life will really, you will progress very well in your professional life. For me, if I am not successful in my profession, somewhere I don't think I am adopting the spirituality in the right way. If I really apply the spirituality in my interaction, in anything I do, then I will progress. I will be successful. So that is how I saw yoga for success. And then becoming a deity, for example, as I mentioned, if I start to inculcate divine qualities, how adding God's qualities in every actions I do, every word I speak, or that will show even on my face. So that means I saw a possibility that becoming a deity is a possibility. Maybe I take it 10%, 20%. I say, I want to take a chance. I want to really apply. But I worked literally throughout my life. When I joined Brahma Kumaris, I was always looking for application, becoming better. And somehow or other, I came to America in 74, 77. And I consider myself to be a successful engineer. But I also spend a lot of time, energy, and everything, my resources for the upliftment of myself and the society. So this is where I started to feel becoming an angel or deity. So simplify the world. Because lots of time we think of deity mean big, big known deities. No, I can be an ordinary deity. I'm an ordinary human being. I can be an ordinary deity. So these are the things I was applying. So deity ones who give. Is it true or not? देवता देने वाले को देवता कहा जाता है. You know. So that means the deity means the one who gives. So that to give means if I am making $100,000, Let me work for $110,000. So then 10,000 becomes my giving to the society. Now people think smart people are who will work for 90 and brag about 125. So that is kind of deceiving. But on the other side, if I say I am a deity, I am an angel, I will work $10,000 more. Or I want to give so much love, I will give extra love. I will have extra patience. So that means whatever patience I'm supposed to have, let me have a little bit more than that. So that means I am giving the virtue of patience. I am spreading the tolerance, spreading the love and the happiness. So I am creating that environment of love and happiness. So that means we can say, oh, I am living in heaven. I create heaven around me because I'm spreading the love and the care and the happiness. So, so now I find, like, Sister Shanti brought about that I was in the World Trade Center. I want to share that experience also of my World Trade Center. Of course, I had been with Brahma Kumaris when I came to America. I joined them in 1 year, and since then I am very close to the BK family. I travel around and all that. But on that particular day, many times we think that if I remember God, God will protect me. Some or another, I started to feel that if God protects, and if I'm child of God, and I say I carry God's DNA, so what should I be doing? Should I take protection or should I give protection to others? Only then I can say I follow my father. If I say I follow my mother and father, that means I will try to do whatever my parents are doing. It is true or not? So this is how I had, tried to live my life like that. So then in the World Trade Center, I give you a little bit what happened. I was on 64th floor, and the very first tower which was hit, I was in that tower. The tower, if you know that they are twin towers, 110 stories each. So I was on the 64th floor. So when the plane hit, it looked like earthquake. The building went this way, that way, that way, but then it came to stand still. Then we knew it is not an earthquake. Maybe a small plane must have hit. So people got panic, but it was not a big deal because the tower was very, very strong. So we started to come down. As we are coming down, then people started to tell, oh, second plane, second plane. So the second plane came and hit the second building. So we are in our tower. And that is how we know it's a terrorist attack. Then we are coming down. The other tower, which was struck later, but it started to come down first. So whilst it was collapsing, our tower was shaking so bad because they are very close to each other. The foundations are connected. So the effect of that tower collapsing was our tower was so shaking that the floor is shaking, the plaster is falling from the ceiling and the wall, and the pipeline is rattling with each other. Emergency lighting flickering, like really like a movie kind of scene of horror movie. And that is where people started to get into panic. And then after some time, we found out because of the tower which fell, the debris of that tower blocked our stairs. So we had to change our stairs. So we went to the second stairs, and there is more crowd. And then after some time, as we are coming down, we saw a lot of water started to come down the stairs. What had happened that the pipeline, they were broken. So you could see the how much pressure the pipes had. So all the water is coming down the stairs. The speed of the water is so much that if we don't hold on to the handrail, we will just flush down. And few people happened, they got hurt also. So holding the handrails, we are coming down, and then we found out we have to change even those stairs because they were broken from underneath. So in order to go to the final, that is the third stairs, we had to go through a total dark corridor because the lights were off and water is falling on top of us. Water is ankle high on the ground. And in the dark, walking, holding the wall, and little by little, once in a while, we will see those emergency lights, they flicker once in a while. We could see all the wires, they were communication wires, they were electrical wires, they were all hanging on top of us. Now you could see the electrical wires and the water, and so we had to really bend down. So ducking down, holding the wall, little by little we walked along the wall, and finally we came out into the third stairs, and then we go down. We had gone out only for about 4 or 5 minutes. We felt the ground is shaking underneath. We looked back, our tower also is collapsing. Now we were so close to the towers. If the tower had toppled in our direction, we would have been underneath it. We were so close. But of course, tower came straight like this. We are all aware of that. So nothing happened to us, but we ran from there. And I had few people with me. They wanted to stay with me. So we walked and walked, and we have a meditation center in Manhattan near Empire State Building on Fifth Avenue. We are only 2 blocks away from there. So I brought them over there. Then we had, some food, and they did some meditation. And in the evening, when the train started to run, we all came home. Now, next day, people started calling me from newspapers, television, and they were very curious what was my experience. So I will share one particular thing, 1 or 2 things maybe. That one thing they were saying, I was 95 minutes in the tower, and 5 minutes before it collapsed, I came out. I could have been very easily been there inside because I was trying to help other people too. So they were saying, you were so close to the death. Share your experience when you thought that you will not make it. You're going to die. And I really, honestly, I go back and look into my time. I could not find a single second when I was in fear. And I was wondering what could be the reason. Like I am an ordinary person. I am not a kind of macho kind of person or any strong kind of person. I'm just regular. So, what could be the reason that I did not feel the fear? The only thing I could think of, because I started helping other people. In the process of helping other people, my fear never came to me. We have this experience in our life. You might be going through problems and situations, you're sad. All of a sudden, you see somebody comes to you. They are even in more miserable condition than you are. They are suffering more than you are. And you forget about your own pain and sorrow. You start to console that person. And then you forget even your own pain and sorrow. It happens or not. And that's what happened to me. That I did not have any fear or pain or sorrow. Now, question also comes in the time of crisis. How much can you help anyway? Everybody is coming down the stairs. I am coming down too. Other people are coming down. They knew I do meditation. So they were telling me, Ram, pray for us. We are so glad that you are with us. So those kind of things they were saying. I will also say, have faith in God, everything will be okay. But the difference was between me and others. Other people were trying to walk fast, and trying to, move ahead. But I was staying back. And I will look around, I will see if anybody needs any help or whatever. So I was coming slowly, thinking that how can I help? So it is a small thing I want to share that when the other tower collapsed and when all the water, the things are happening and all that, then any little sound you have seen in even in the horror movies, that any time when somebody is in the total panic, even a little sound shakes you up. You tremble with fear. So anytime little sound will come, they will tremble. And there are many women, they are behind me, they will scream with fear. And I could see in their eyes, they were so frightened. So what I will do, I will quietly step back and I will ask them to come in front of me. And I will bring them in front of me and I will say, we are all together. We will all go together. So don't worry. We all be okay. Now, it is not a big deal, right? You are 2 steps ahead and now you just go 2 steps behind. Is it a big deal? Not much. But for them, it was very big deal because somewhere there was the feeling this person has given his own space to us. If we will be in trouble, this person is going to help us. Just that feeling. And I could see how loving they were, how happy they were with me. And they were saying, we are so happy with you. So much so, they said, Ram, you are our angel. Now they use the word angel. Now I am kind of smiling inside. I say, wow, becoming an angel. That we make so much effort. We say angels are something out of question, something impossible. We are human beings, and here just stepping just 2 steps back and become an angel, it is a very good deal. But what I really felt was my learning was that in the time of crisis, even your small gesture multiplies exponentially. That means a small act of goodness can exponentially have a positive impact on other people. So this is where then I started to think more and more, because I did not say, I heard in the knowledge that we are going to become Farishta, we are going to become Devta, angels and deities. But here somebody else is saying that to me. So then I started to think more. I said, what it really means. Many times when we think of angels, we think of only big angels, who are very famous. And we don't find ourselves close to that. But they are big angels. I am an ordinary person. Can I become, or I'm a small, I'm just one unit of 7 billion people in the world. With my goodness and with my helping other people, can I become a tiny angel, small angel, little angel, you know, even a speck of an angel. But that means I can be tiny, micro angel. We use the word micro angel, quite a word, in IT word, micro. So I'm in a micro angel. So I started to understand what angel means. Really? Then I started to think even more that people, angels are not somebody that they are flying with the wings and all that. I started to say that means the wings of joy, the wings of love. So that means that when somebody is doing good actions, helping other people, that they remain light. So what I found that angels are flying, the reason being they are light. So then I compared with the birds. Why the birds fly? Because if you see their bones are their wings, you know, those wings, and they're all hollow. Their bones are all hollow. There is air in it. So because of that, they fly. So is there a possibility that I could also feel in my bones the love and the care and the kindness and godly happiness? Is it possible? So even though it looks like, you know, how you could think that way, but I started thinking that way. Other thing I also noticed, angels come out of nowhere. They come only when need is there. They appear, they help you out, and before even you notice, they fly away. Is it true or not? This is how we see the angels. Do they stay back to get acknowledged, or do they stay back to enjoy what they have done, or do they stay back to get your gift? Supposing angels start to get the gift, we want to get something in return, right? But if angels start to collect the gifts, what will happen? They will become heavy. They won't be able to fly. So that means now I understood a practical example of being an angel. That in the time of crisis, when you are also going through pain and sorrow, others are, find somebody who is in more pain and sorrow than you are and start helping that person. So then you can call yourself also not big angels, just ordinary human angels, a tiny, miny angel, a micro angel. So if we all start to do this, then more and more angels are created. So then what will it will become? It will become the world of angels. Angels who help others. See, the deities, they give to others. The angels, they help others. See, now you could see that when we start to feel connected with God, I start to feel I am God's child. And I should have the courage to accept that I have the potential to become an angel or a deity. Human angels, human deities. So this is how, you know, I had many other experiences, but, you know, one other thing I also experienced that many times we do good things in our life, but we don't get the credit. We don't get rewarded. Sometimes forget about rewarded. People even criticize you. They even take advantage of you. They make you even look like a fool. Does it happen sometime? You know, they say I am a good person, but I am hurting. People are taking advantage of my goodness. People are taking advantage of my giving to other people. It happens or not? And that is where I used to think too. That people will keep on taking advantage. I keep on helping other people, but when their turn comes, they walk away. And I saw it one time, two times, three times, four times. One time I really said to myself, no, I am not going to help that person anymore. So I did not do it. So what I felt when the person went crying, I think I was in more pain than that person. somewhere the feeling was, today I went against my conscience. This is not what I am. So I don't want to go against my own nature. But this is where I understood. Now, being an engineer, when I saw success in my life, then I say, how that works? This is where I understood. If people take advantage of me, that means I am at advantage. Other person is at disadvantage. Energy flows from the high level to low level. So they will keep taking from me. And if I say, okay, I will help you 10 times, could you help me one time? In order to receive from here, I am here and I want to take help from here. Where I need to go, I will need to come down. I will have to come over here. And that is not acceptable to me because my place is here. So you will notice any time you have to take from anybody, you feel so uncomfortable because you have to come down so much below your dignity. So it's not acceptable. That is why you say, let me remain there. But the beauty, that is where the simple physics come. If somebody is taking from here, it keeps coming. Space is created. I start to receive it from God, from nature, from circumstances. Like hot air goes away, the wind start to blow in that direction from everywhere. Water comes out of the tap, then the water start to flow in the pipelines. Otherwise, the water will become stagnant, like a pond versus the river. River continue to flow, and then it keeps on getting the fresh water. So these were my concept. Being an engineer become more and more clear. This is where I started to call it spiritual engineering or dynamics of happiness, science of happiness. So that means there is a process, but process is simplified. The reason being because whatever resources I have on the physical level, how much money I make, what body I have, how much my height, what kind of car I have, all those things are my physical resources. And I work based on how many resources I have, the time and energy, the money, the body, the mind. But now I am introduced to another energy, and that is spiritual energy, that is of love and happiness. So that means when I start to use love in my life, my energy gets increased. So this is how, like you see that when somebody asks you, your child will ask you, Mom, could you do this thing for me? It will take you only 1 hour. Wow. And you are so tired and exhausted. So my guy, no, I'm tired. No, I cannot do it. He said, Mom, please, please, please. So what you do? You say, all right, let's do it. And you start doing it. And after doing 1 hour, 2 hours work, child is happy, you are happy seeing the child happy, and actually you are not even tired anymore. Have you seen sometimes your tiredness goes away? So that means where that energy come from? You were tired and now you're not tired anymore and you work 2 hours extra. So can I say that's the energy of love? Same way when you're happy, you could sleep only 4 hours. You jump out of the bed full of energy. And when you're sad, you could sleep 8 hours, 10 hours, still you are tired when you get up. It's true or not? Is it a theory or it is a fact of life? So this is how I have seen the spiritual energy working with my physical energy combined together. It becomes a bigger force. My efficiency increases. Because when I am in the form of giving and giving, you will notice that when you're giving and giving, you keep on receiving. Some will say, I don't know where I get energy from. You will remain smiling and happy and full of energy. You don't get tired, isn't it? So many times people tell me even this thing. Ram, you are innocent. People are using you. Do you have that kind of problem? Sometimes you feel people are using you. Yeah. So now what I tell them, oh, people are using you. People are using me. That means I am useful. Otherwise, I will become useless. So do I want to become useful or useless? People will take it, oh my gosh, my battery is going down. I will quickly run and get the battery in 1 minute. Okay.
Sure, brother. Yeah.
That's an awesome reply, right? I'm useful. That's why people are using me.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
very thoughtful. Yeah. That's good.
So after brother finishes, if any one of you have any questions or you have something to say, you all can one after the other say it, okay? So that you can talk to the brother also. So brother is recording this. So once he's done, then we will get, I'll ask him to send us the copy also. So if anyone wants to hear again or, keep it for their recording.
All right. Sorry about that. So, so in other words, you don't feel yourself to be a victim. Many times we say, oh, people are taking advantage, people are using me. Let them use because I'm useful, because I'm powerful, I am worth. Like, for example, if somebody is useful, everybody wants to be around you, right? They want to invite you. Come to our place, right? But if you are somebody useless, do you want to invite that person? Even if they want to come, but you say, oh my God, some other time, I'm busy right now and all that. And even the person show up, you say, oh my gosh, then the person will go. Do I want to become like that? So that is where our dignity lies in giving, doing extra, becoming efficient, smiling, being useful. That is where the impact of the spirituality in our life, where you are not only successful in your profession, but you're loving, caring, and likable person. So I will stop over here. If there is anything you want to ask, or if there is any questions on your mind, or you want to challenge me, say, oh, these are all theories, whatever. Any question you have, you could ask. Or if you want to make any comment or whatever.
Yeah, please go ahead, unmute yourself and say hello to brother or your question. Just now Bhargavi was saying that that's a great statement, to be useful for somebody and useless. So it connected to them. Very nice. Yes, Seema, then go ahead.
Om Shanti, sister, and thank you so much, brother. I mean, I literally have goosebumps, hearing about your 9/11's, experience, and what you did was just amazing. I actually have so many things I could say, but I know we have a lot of other people. But I'll say one thing that really, really, hit me is your thoughts about being ordinary. You can be an ordinary person, but be an angel, right? You can do small things to make big difference. And so many things in my life actually goes on, and your last talk about people using you, and all those things. So it's thank you so much. I just cannot express my gratitude in words. But this was amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. I made some notes too, so and I'm looking forward to the recording. I was just going to ask because I would love to hear it all over again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. See, this is what I find that that means like not showing myself to be, oh my gosh, I am loveful, but I am vulnerable. See, our qualities, we have made our qualities vulnerable. Love is vulnerable, truth is vulnerable, hard work is vulnerable, kindness is vulnerable, but actually spirituality brings the wisdom into our qualities. See, usually what happens, we have unbalanced qualities, but spirituality brings them into balance. Like you use the word appropriate, using the qualities in appropriately, appropriate proportion, appropriate time, appropriate situation, a person. So that is what the spirituality really bring the balance in our all the resources. Great. Anybody else?
Shanti, brother, this is Vijaya.
Ah,
Very impressive talk. Like we always analyze things, we understand, but we never apply. Most of us do that mistake. The way you explain everything was so nice. I even took notes. So practical, and we all know that, but we never apply or follow it. Surely, I'll try to apply my knowledge. Thank you so much, brother. Very, very impressive.
what the little boy, your son,
Yeah, my son, he wanted to.
what did he pick? What good thing he pick? Anything?
Anything you tell?
Anything he liked?
I just like your statements and like the good things you shared today.
Good things?
Yeah.
What's that good things? What?
Like you talking about being like an angel and helping others, and
Yeah.
how you are brave and stood back to help others in the 9/11 incident.
Now I ask you this question: did you feel little bit? Oh, I also do the same thing actually. Did you?
Yeah.
Did you feel that? Oh, yeah, I also.
Yeah.
Now I should not be afraid of my goodness, right?
He was actually telling me like whenever you said something, he was also asking me questions, and he was also telling like he want to do that.
Yeah, you see, that's what. See, I don't know how I picked, but somewhere I felt that you are saying, "Oh, I also do that. Oh, I also do that, or I will do it." That is what it is called. That that connecting with God. That is what helps us. Excellent.
Thank you so much, brother. We are so fortunate today to hear your speech. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, brother. This is Bhargavi.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So it's I'm feeling very, very lucky to have you today here, and I loved all the explanation what you said about your experience today, and really 2 points I picked up in your in your experiences today, that you are very stable at that time of incident, and you are looking for every thought of you. uh, you are you want to help others. So that's the thing Baba asks us to do every time. And one thing you explained clearly, I was looking forward for the answer, what you're going to tell. Like even I do have this kind of experiences in family relationships, will be like always giving and giving, and sometimes even I do expect. So I was like waiting for your statement in the end. What is he gonna say? So that's an awesome way of thinking. Our obviously our energy level will become more elevated, and it's like in the higher position, and nobody can reach to that. If we are gonna expect or somebody to do for us, we have to come down. So that's a very nice explanation, and that's a very nice statement that you said, like you are useful to others. Everybody is using you. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I love that one too. And yeah, you made everything the your experience, and how you know the knowledge and what it bring up to you in your life. And definitely it gave me an positive thinking towards the life, how to lead and how to take the situations. And that's a very nice kind of if we not think about our fears, then we can able to listen others feelings. So that's a very good thing, and I'm very thankful to be in the group. And thank you so much, Shanti sister, for bringing brother here today. Thank you. Awesome, awesome class.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Anyone else want to say?
Om Shanti.
Ah,
Om Shanti. It was very good presentation today. And one of the things that I liked about you saying is, in life, many people keep using you. And we keep saying that, oh my God, even the fact that you know that he's using. So one of the thing, and I think that's one of my fear of not saying no. I have not developed yet that characteristic to somebody to bluntly say no. And I have people, they have done to me. So what I learned from your lesson today, one of the very thing way, instead of looking at why he is doing like this to me, the positive way to look at this issue could be, let him use me. I am useful to somebody. And I think that was one of the very good thing I learned. And I mean, still I have to work at overcoming. Like, I'm not saying that you should be saying no and be rude, but there should also be in a life to say no, so you're not hurt all the time. Sometimes you get hurt because you cannot say no.
You know, that is where we use the word that when we think of the spirituality, we also call God is loveful, God is also knowledgeful, God is also powerful. So that we could see that God is full of all these virtues. One of the thing called knowledge. Knowledge is a information, but when I start to interact with the people, then I am dealing with the people, and then I start to see the word appropriate. Where is you automatically start to go into balance. See, that usually what happens, we get uh, driven by emotions a lot of time. We either don't act at all, or then we react. So that means it becomes kind of reactions all the time. Either I am too depressed, or I become too much of. Either I'm too humble, or I become too angry. So this is what the spirituality does. That somewhere I start to know myself, my abilities, and also my nature. But then I also start to have the wisdom. Okay, I have done this much. Now this thing is, now I should add something else. Like, for example, in the truth, there are so many things you need to add: the love, the humility, right time, right situation. And also, if the child did not listen to me, I don't get upset, or I don't get depressed. I say, I have done my job. I cannot say more than that. This is what happened. Either we don't say anything, and when we say, then we are like a jwalamukhi, we are like, then open up everything, and both then don't work. But this is, spirituality gives us stability, that I have done my job, because the person you are dealing with, you are not the only one. That person has connection. That person has his own connections. He has own karmas. He has owned his back life, front life, his nature with God. So he is living life. I'm a co-traveler. So that means this one birth, this short period of time, I am with that person. So I just do my part. The rest, that that person also has intellect, but giving his time and space and all that. When I start to do that, then all of a sudden the thought does not come what I got in return. You say, I am child of God. God only gives. So that means my relationship of give and take is
Yes,
over.
with
Give and take is like calculation. Then it's a business. What I gave, what you gave me. But when I say I'm child of God, my DNA is only of giving, giving and giving. So then what happened? You say that that's what my life is. My life, actually, when I, just quickly, I will bring it up. You will notice our life is meant only for others. We don't live for our own self. We think we do, but we don't. You'll see a mother. If the mother is alone, she will not even cook food for herself. She will eat just junk here and there and all that. But when the family is there, she cooks for the family. And then because she's cooking for the family, she also eats. So you could see that that means the mother is living only for the children. But that's the so rather than feeling that, oh my God, my life is only for others, what about me? No, me is automatically included because when I'm giving and giving, it's natural. I will keep receiving, keep receiving, keep receiving. You will never be empty. But using it in a worthwhile way, in the that is where the knowledge turns into wisdom. So wisdom is
very nice.
appropriate.
No, very nice. Thank you. I makes a lot of sense.
Thank you, brother. Just listening to you has raised my energy level. Like it's 6 a.m. in the morning. Like I have no tiredness and I'm like ready to do whatever. It's been really great listening to you because I originally, like all my life, I have always believed in helping and giving. But the way you said it, like how we create some expectations, you do 10 times and the 11th time you feel like, oh, this person when I needed didn't help me, and that's where we stop doing things for people, which is against our soul consciousness, like what a true nature is. And so just you reminding me of that like brings me back to my original self, that yes, I am going to gain energy from just thinking about it, energize me. I don't know what, when I actually go do something. So, and the fact that how you shared, like when you help your child and you're tired and then you work 3 hours extra and then you are not tired anymore, right? So that's very true, because that's our nature, that's our true original nature. When you give happiness to somebody, it gives us double happiness. So everything you said, the useless point, like being useful and useless, like that is another thing that we always come across in our life. And how people, like how people invite only those that are useful, right? So I mean, I've experienced this so much, and I used to think of it like, oh, people are just they want to get this done from me, that's why they think they want me. But now thinking of it this way, like I want 100 people to invite me if they think I'm useful to them in any way. Right? So it just puts a really different spin on what we already think we should be doing or is the right thing to do. But now it just going to energize me every time I think, oh, somebody's invited me, or somebody wants my help, or I don't want to take, like I want to just give, right? So I think, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time today. Thank you. Om
See,
Shanti.
the value of anything is based on how much you can use that thing, right? See, as much as useful it is, that much value it has, right? So that's what it is. People keep using me, that means I keep on becoming more and more valuable.
Yeah. And now we also have an answer to somebody who says, oh, they are using you. Then you can say, well, I'm glad you can use me too. Thank you.
Welcome. Welcome.
Anyone else wants to say? Yeah, Renuka Chapandi. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I echo with all the comments that you have received. And thank you so much for your time for today. And the way you put the practical examples that make a lot of sense. And to relate, it made the easy how we can relate with real examples. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Renuka, right?
Yes, Renuka. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And anyone else wants to say hello? One or two.
Shanti. Thank you, Rambai. This is Gautam. Thank you so much. When we see like people like Rambai, he was in like so many years in knowledge, but it is not only that. So he makes everything is so simple that gives an hope for us as if we can do more and more. Thank you, Rambai, for your time. Thank you so much. I feel very happy for this session.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
No, we are blessed. Actually, there were 25 souls that attended this session, and a couple of them could not come, Vatsala and Lalita. So they wanted the recording of it. So
Sister Shanti, even there are questions or something, they can relate to you, they can write to you, that you can send me. And even when we talk next time, we could even answer those questions too. Because there are ongoing kind of things. I feel that whenever there are questions, we will be solving them collectively, from everyone's input and all that. So I am open to that.
So brother is saying he's available to come in between. So that's our fortune. So we'll keep inviting him in between, and then we can, hear more and get more knowledge and practical points.
Yeah, thank you so much, sister and brother. Today we really learned the purity of the word truth. So the quality of the truth word. So it really gives us a good direction. What is truth? So that's a very good explanation of your statement. Thank you so much.
There is Smita Behan also, and Yash, one more child, and the Raji sister also has her child with them. So I want to say hello.
Hello, brother.
Om Shanti.
Yes. Who is that?
Yeah, this is Raji from Michigan.
Okay. Raji. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we are so.
Oh, Raji. Okay. Now I see.
We are so blessed. We are so blessed to attend the session. Thank you, sister. Thank you, brother. And this is my daughter. She is also showing more and more interest nowadays after seeing my, to get into this knowledge. So she's like to share something to you, brother.
Great. Yes.
Hi, Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. How old are you?
I'm 13.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I really liked how you shared your experience with everyone and how you said like good theme messages and stuff. And something I wanted to take away from this was that even when you're in pain, you should help someone who is in more pain, because not only does that help the other person, it also helps you and gives you more energy and happiness. And I really like that. And I want to do that like throughout in my future in life.
See, this is what you are bringing it up. Being an engineer, like we say that dynamics, right? Dynamics of the physical energy. We know about that, how the force works, direction and everything, physical resources. So this is called dynamics of happiness. So it's a dynamics. And the thing is that something is not theory. We have experienced so many times whenever I just try to help other people, it makes me happy. Before we don't know what it is. But once you see it 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, 4 time, then you start to see it is a process. And the process is when you give, then space is created. So things start to come your way.
Right.
That is only when I give, God gives to me. So that means I have the line connected, right?
Yes.
So when the water comes out, then the water start to flow from God to me. So it's a pipeline, you know. So that means the supply continue. Otherwise, if you don't give, if the water does not come out of the tap, water will not flow in the pipe.
Yes.
Now that's called dynamics. You know? So
Yes.
same effect, but it's a spiritual dynamics.
Yes.
Wonderful. Good to
Yes.
hear
Thank
that.
you. Thank you. We would like to more hear about your experience more. So if any chance you keep coming and share your experience, that will be really helpful for us, like New Soul. Thank you once again. Thank you, sister. Thank you, brother. Om Shanti. Thank you.
Shanti, thank you.
Do you have time to answer one question, or are we, if we are running short of time, I can always tell Shanti Ben and she can forward it.
Yeah, Shanti Ben, okay. One more
Okay, okay, brother. Just Smita Ben is also there. Yes, she's there. So if she can say hello, and then we can go to Bhavna Ben's, because he's also a child waiting. Smita Ben
Sure,
and-
please, please.
Yeah, thank you.
Om Shanti, brother.
Om Shanti.
Just want to say something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Om
I'm
Shanti.
looking at the screen. Okay. Okay. All right.
Om Shanti. And one thing I would like to take away from this is the attitude of like giving, because instead of if someone's using you, it's not like a bad thing. It's be grateful that someone is seeing that you are useful and knowing
Yeah.
that,
See?
recognizing you.
That means giving becomes your strength. It is not people are taking advantage of you, but you are giving advantage to them. See, that means it becomes your strength. You are not vulnerable. You are not a victim, but you are a bestower. You are a giver. You are stronger. You are at the upper hand. I am at advantage. So it becomes your strength. You feel good about yourself. Wonderful. Excellent.
Thank you. Om Shanti.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
There's
Om
just
Shanti.
a newborn yesterday. Madhavi Ben, Madhavi Nirnarandi. She had a grandchild yesterday night, so it's a. But we cannot show, but you can give her blessings for that.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
You can bless her brother, that small baby. They cannot show they're in hospital, but at least, like, if you can.
Yeah, my daughter had a daughter yesterday, so
Congratulations.
thank you. Yeah, so there was a different perspective views that I really liked about your speech today. So hopefully I can teach that to my grandchild and implement it to her too. Om Shanti, thank you. Thank you, sister.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Om Shanti. Bhavna Ben, please go ahead with your question.
Brother, I have never experienced anything like what you experienced in 9/11. So my question was, what do we learn in this kind of experience if you go through in your life? Because that is really a big experience you have gone through, and what do you learn? What do we learn in the how do you feel, or what was your first impact that came to your mind, or something like, that's what I'm.
What I find, you will see wherever there is crisis, there is opportunity. You will find you don't need courage if there is no fear. Only when the fear is there, you have an opportunity to develop courage in you. If there is no uncertainty, I don't need faith. Faith is needed only when in the time of uncertainty. So you could see every time any crisis comes, actually that is the giving me opportunity to grow up. It gives me opportunity to promote myself. Every test we give, we take the test, right? 9th grade to 10th grade. Without taking the test, I cannot be promoted to 10th or 11th. So that means you will see in your life, if somebody asks you, share your life experience. You will not share the experience of when everything was going smooth and easy and no problem. It was like a boring life in a way. But you will only share the moments you were in a big trouble, big situation. Nothing was working, you were totally failing, but somehow or another, you tap into your internal resources, you went to God, you went for helping, you became a humble person, and you started to work, you let go of all your, laziness and everything. So actually, then you come out of that situation swinging, and actually, that is where you grew up. Every crisis is an opportunity for growth. Actually, our life is built only over our crises. Only crisis builds our life. If I take that way, then I am not afraid. That's what I'm saying. You just have to give a little bit, just little bit jump. That's what they call leap of faith. Leap of courage. Leap is something, it's not normal, but you just give it a shot. That's what it is. That's all it needs in the time of crisis. Just a little bit from the normal, little bit beyond your capacity, beyond your comprehension. The courage is only when something you're going in the unknown. You can fall. Let people go for adventures. Why people go? They can fall, they can get hurt. But why they go? Because the excitement of achieving something, finding something is much bigger than the fear of falling. That's why we all go for adventure. So make my life adventurous, not boring and all that. So that's how I take it.
No, very nice. Thank you.
And there's one more sister, Tejaswini. She's also a very new Baba's child. Tej sister, you want to say hello to brother?
Yes. Hello, brother. Thank you for this wonderful session. I really like the part where you said that, you have to always be giving. And, always I used to think when people used to call me, like, why I should go to my people. Now I know, like, how it feels like, to be useful. And when you said the part that you have to be, you'll be little angels. So I would say that this session, everyone whoever has been here, they've been like a little angels for me, and you have come today as an angel giving your views, and I will also try to be a little angel to someone, like that the chain continues. And thank you for this session, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. It's so interesting that everybody picked, nobody felt, oh my gosh, I cannot do that. See, this is how you have to see the enjoyment of life, doing all those things. That how come, if I ask all of you, we are all innocent people. All of us are taken advantage of in life. That's how they use the word Shiva, they call Bholanath, Lord of Innocence. So if we were not innocent, we would not have been even sitting in this session. So that means it is our nature. That is why we feel connected with each other. And that's why my talk is even making sense to you. Otherwise, it will not make sense because it is already ingrained. That's our DNA. This is our DNA. So today, you felt that the core of your DNA has been touched. So maybe in this meditation, we will see that how we can just have this awakening of DNA. Maybe we should do that. Yes. Anybody else? That's it, right?
The
If not,
couple
we will
who,
finish 7 o'clock. Huh?
yeah, we are already no problem, but I think they're all ready to listen more, so they're all staying together today. So if anybody wants to say the final Om Shanti, then brother will guide us for a few minutes, like maybe 5 minutes in meditation guided commentary, and then we can wind up the session today. Anyone wants to say hello? Or I think, yeah, you can go ahead, brother. You
So
can.
let's just go into that, connecting with God, with relationship, that as my parents have the DNA, I carry my DNA of the body, and I the soul. Let me become soul conscious means that I withdraw all my energy from the body and concentrate in the center of the forehead, the soul energy. And I want to feel myself, my inner energy, energy of the soul. I want to know myself. I want to journey to myself. And I start to turn within and start going deeper and deeper. I bypass all the problems, situations, or the tasks I have to do. I just to continue my inward journey. And I keep on going deeper and deeper. And as I go deeper, I start to feel light. I'm shading away all the situations and problems and just feeling myself more and more. And I am feeling comfortable. And finally, I reach the core of my being, the nucleus. And I feel myself there. I see myself so beautiful, so loving, so caring, so much peaceful and happy. That is me. That's my DNA. This is how I feel I am child of God. And I carry God's DNA of love and care and joy. But I also feel it's a little bit weak, vulnerable. I am afraid to bring it out. But with courage, I bring out all my qualities of the soul, all the genes of my DNA out in whatever they are, in whatever condition they are. And I bring it out and I offer myself to God as I am. And God accepts me as I am. And the love that's vulnerable, God gives me godly wisdom. So I start to know how to use my love in an appropriate time and the way I use, how to use, when to use. So my love is filled with wisdom. Also, God fills that love with godly power, and love gets filled with strength. So love is not vulnerable anymore, but it becomes my strength, my willpower, the willpower of being a child of God. As God gives, I give. As God helps, I help. And I become God's a tiny God Junior, the child of God. I am God Junior, even though it's micro, but still it is the genes of God in me, and I use them with courage and faith. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Rambai. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And we'll definitely keep inviting brother monthly once or something like that. So that
It was pleasure. Yeah, it was pleasure meeting with everybody. And one thing I find, everybody was very interesting. And you're already, it looks like you have a head start in becoming an angel and deity.
Om Shanti. Thank you. Next time, whoever could not get a chance to say hello or on their video, next time you all can do that and say Om Shanti. Thank you,
everybody.
brother. Thank you.
Om Shanti. Thank you so
Om
much.
Shanti. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Om
Bye bye.
Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you.
Om Shanti. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, sister.
Om Shanti Rambai. I'll talk to you on phone later. Om Shanti.